Let's look at Model Mania 2024, but before we dive into the solution, let's discuss one of the tips you need to know to really make this work. You have to draft two ways. First, we'll use the draft expert to add that 5-degree draft. It's easy, just to find the angle, the reference plane, and then choose the faces to be drafted. Next, we'll turn to the rib to create that draft as part of the feature. You'll see this option in a lot of features in SOLIDWORKS, but maybe you've never used it. Just turn it on by selecting it and then define the angle. If you didn't know this, then there's no way you were going to get this done quickly. Now, let's move on to show you how we did this step by step. Let's start with our units. It has to be the first thing you do in Model Mania. Here, we're working in millimeters. Now, we'll create that rectangular boss on the top plane. I want to start with a center rectangle right here on the origin. I'm using the S key to keep my attention focused here at the center of the screen. I define the dimensions here of this rectangle to be 30 by 80. And then we're ready to turn this into a 5mm extrusion. So we'll make sure that we're doing a blind extrusion up 5mm, changing the dimension here, hitting OK, and moving on now to create that circular boss. Now with this circular boss, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create both circles while I'm within the same sketch. I'll then later use contour select to allow me to leverage those sketches. What I'm doing here is saving time, minimizing the amount of times I need to create new sketch, exit sketch, and all that. So here I'm just defining the dimensions. We have it centered 60mm away from the left-hand side, just matching exactly what's in that PDF, horizontally aligned with the origin. 15 is the hole, 20 is the outer diameter. Here is the trick. We got to make sure we use the selected contours option down here so that I can be sure that I'm choosing the right things. There's other ways to do this, but I chose to go this route because I find that in Model Mania, edits and changes, they work really well when we use the contour select. Now, I chose the sketch that I wanted to use, make sure I'm leveraging that. This is the only way you can reuse sketches here inside of SOLIDWORKS. So I'm using that sketch a second time here to create that 15mm diameter hole. Now I want to use the rib. This is really the only way you can create this type of a feature easily. Yeah, you could sketch it. Yeah, you could do other things, but with just a line dimensioned properly here, 15 from the face to the top point, and then we have 5 from the left edge to the other point. So just adding 2 dimensions, some references, and a single line, I can leverage the rib command to save a lot of time. So now I give it that thickness. It was 4mm, and I see that arrow pointing down. It's going to fill that in, give it that thickness, and just like that, I've created a pretty complicated shape. It would take a little bit more geometry and features to do. Let's keep going here. I'm going to add this other circular boss. Again, same thing. I'm going to draw both shapes within the same sketch. Do I need to do it that way? No, maybe. It's just the choice that I made, and I'm going to go ahead with it. 10mm for the inside hole, 20mm for the outside base. And now I just continue defining it, 10 from that top face, and then 20 from the left-hand edge. And then what I need to do is create a extrude to go up to that other side. I'm not gonna key in a dimension here. What I'm gonna do is use up to surface in case things change. It's a little bit more of a robust model. It works kind of how I want to. And just like that, I have the overall shape. Now the last little bit is just the fillets. So I'm gonna add first the 8mm fillet on all 4 corners. Anytime I'm adding fillets, what I wanna do is I'm gonna click an edge and pause and let this bar pop up right here to see what it suggests. And right away, I can, in one click, add those fillets to the 4 edges. Now, again, enter key right back into my fillet command, 2mm, and I'm just gonna choose edges or faces, something to help me kind of match this up to the drawing. So what I've done is I've chosen 2 faces there, added that, the bottom edge of that circular boss. I click this edge here and tangency takes over. Again, I click that edge, now tangency takes over. Just looking at different ways I can do this, that face, It adds a fillet to everything. This is my shape. I think we got it. We're measured based on the mass. So let me add plain carbon steel as the material, evaluate mass properties, and I look at the mass. And there we have our answer for Model Mania Phase 1. Now, we're given some changes. So let's go ahead and make our changes. I know immediately with these changes, I'm gonna have issues with the fillets. I don't feel like dealing with that, so I'm gonna roll it back so that I can work on the overall shape. I know now that this boss isn't defined to be 20. I'm just gonna delete that and I'm gonna use a relationship. This is supposed to be tangent to that face. That's literally what they wrote. So I'm just gonna click that edge, holding the control key. I'm gonna make it tangent, and that's gonna define the shape. So I'll exit this sketch. I'll take a look at it, and I know now I have to clean this up just a little bit. This is a competition. So instead of thinking about it, I'm gonna do it the easiest way. It's sketch, convert entities, and cut. This could be kind of sloppy modeling. I think it's pretty sloppy, but you know what? It gets the job done, and it gets it done incredibly quickly. Here we have the overall shape. I'm gonna roll ahead so that I can see the other bosses added to this. And now I need to draft. We talked about this in the beginning of the video. So the draft command, first draft expert, 5-degree draft from that face. And I'm gonna click 1, 2, 3, and 4 to add that 5-degree draft to these other faces. Hit apply, and there we go. And again, second option here, press that button, 5 degrees to the rib. That option's there all the time in a lot of features in SOLIDWORKS, and a lot of people just don't know that. Now, why did we have to do this? It's because the rib is defined differently and it doesn't match up with that face, the neutral plane. If I click draft analysis here, what you'll see is if I key in 5 and then that reference again, you see how the rib is yellow and the other faces were green? It's measured differently, it's applied differently. It just doesn't work if you did it all with the draft. So the trick here is you had to do it both ways. You had to first know that it's there. Let's roll ahead now. We have some fillets. Obviously this was for 4 edges. Some of them don't exist. We could right click and delete, but new option, clear all missing references. It just cleans that up for us. 2 is okay, but imagine if that was 20 fillets, and roll it ahead. We're done. That's Model Mania 2024.